What's going on, guys? This is Chandler Smith, and in today's video, I'm gonna help you decide whether real estate investing is worth it or not. And my answer might actually surprise you because I truly believe that for some people, it's worth it, but for others, it is most definitely not. So with all of that being said, let's jump into it. All right, guys, if you're new to the channel, I've been investing in real estate for the last 8 years, and I currently own 123 units of rental real estate. And I know you're going to assume that I'm biased, and it's because I am. Real estate has been really good to me. However, I have seen it all, and I truly believe that for some people, real estate investing is not the route to take. And here's why. Over the last couple of years, I've had someone break into my cash box and rob me. I've had someone drive through a wall. I've had 4 separate apartments all at once get backed up and have poop go everywhere. I've had gnarly evictions. Actually, that's probably been the worst part, is this gnarly eviction. I'll show you really quick.
You motherfucking right you ain't getting paid. Why? Because you're not taking care of your property, bro. Whoever did this the first time it all. That's you're a piece of owner, bro.
I've dealt with leaks, I've dealt with clogs, I've dealt with lawsuits. I've had literally everything that can go wrong, whether it's with purchasing the property and having issues with the seller, whether it's with dealing with the tenants, whether it's dealing with liability, with insurance, with you name it, I've dealt with it. And so I have seen the good, the bad, and the ugly of investing in real estate. Now, before I dive into all of the negatives of real estate investing and hit on the things that will probably turn a lot of you away from real estate investing being your preferred investment, I want to talk about all of the pros first. The truth is there are a ton of upsides that you need to know about before seeing all of the downsides, because if you see the downsides first, odds are you're not even going to finish the video because they're there. Like, there are some obvious downsides to investing in real estate, and that's why you need to know about the pros first. The biggest one is cash flow. And if you don't know what cash flow is, I'm gonna give you a very brief explanation. Essentially how it works is if you buy a property properly, you're gonna do it with a loan. So when you purchase the property, you use a loan, and now you have a mortgage every single month. Now you're gonna pay this mortgage, but you also have additional expenses. These expenses are things like taxes, insurance. You're gonna have money come in from rents, and then all of these expenses are gonna go out, and whatever is left of those rents is your cash flow. And if you've purchased property properly, you should be getting anywhere from a 10 to 15, or heck, maybe even a 20% plus return on your initial investment just in cash flow. So right off the bat, this is a huge positive, because where else can you go and get a 10, 15, 20% return on your money? I mean, that's a very large return. And if you've planned for all of your potential expenses properly and you're actually getting that return on a consistent basis, that's an incredible upside of investing in real estate. The next major upside of owning real estate is appreciation. And essentially what appreciation is the fact that property in general goes up in value by 3 to 5% every single year. And in the right market, and especially the last couple of years, it's been way more than 3 to 5%. As a matter of fact, the last 3 to 4 years, I've gotten over a 10% appreciation on all of my properties. Now, I'm sure your brain is saying, holy cow, I could get a 10 or 15% return in cash flow, and now I could get conservatively a 3 to 5% return in appreciation, or in the good years, a 10% return in appreciation. And the reality is you're right, but it's even better than that, because appreciation is on the total value of the property. For example, if you bought a property for $100,000 and it goes up in value by 3%, that's $3,000. But if you used a loan to buy this property, you didn't spend $100,000 on it. You only spent $25,000 on your down payment. So it actually multiplies your appreciation by 4. So a 3% appreciation is technically a 12%. A 10% appreciation is technically a 40% return on your initial investment. So that's another really cool thing about appreciation and purchasing a property with a loan, because now you're getting an even larger return. The next major benefit is something called principal paydown. And again, this is dependent on you getting a loan on the property instead of purchasing it in cash. But when you get a loan on the property, we counted your mortgage as an expense, but a portion of that mortgage goes towards paying down your principal or paying off your loan. So even though we count it as an expense, it's not counted towards your cash flow return. It's actually still kind of a return because it's putting money into your property that is paying off that property. So the equity in your property is getting bigger every single year. Now, the next one is tax benefits. And I'm not gonna dive into this a ton, but essentially you need to know by owning property, you get huge tax benefits. And it's not necessarily avoiding taxes, but it is deferring taxes, and used properly, you can defer taxes for the entirety of your life. For example, this year alone, I was able to defer $1 million worth of taxable income that I'm not going to get taxed on because of using depreciation and some of the other benefits of investing in real estate. At this point, we've covered the major benefits. Now, there are other benefits like you actually own a tangible object, you own a property, but that also can turn into a negative as we're going to talk about. But with cash flow, appreciation, principal paydown, tax benefits, all of these things end up paying you a huge return if you end up purchasing the property properly. And that is the first major reason that investing in real estate is not right for you, is if you're not willing to take the time to understand how to run the numbers and to make sure that they are correct. All of these numbers that I just talked about with you, they aren't going to always be there for any real estate investment. As a matter of fact, quite the opposite. There are people in this market right now that don't know what they're doing, and they are purchasing properties that are getting negative cash flow and could stand to not even go up in value if they're purchasing them in the wrong markets. And this is where investing in real estate gets really scary. So the first major reason that you should not invest in real estate is if you are unwilling to understand the numbers and hold to those numbers before purchasing your first rental property. Because if you don't know the numbers and you do it incorrectly, not only are you not gonna get all those benefits, but you're gonna be put in a place where you are losing money every single month, every single year, because you chose to invest in real estate. Now, one thing you'll come to find is there's almost no real estate investment that at some point in the future doesn't end up being beneficial. Now, they do exist, but for the most part, properties are going to go up in value, rents are going to go up. That's kind of the general standard, but it doesn't mean you can't find a terrible property and buy it because you don't know what you're doing and end up losing a ton of money in the process. So please, first off, do not invest in real estate if you don't get to the point where you 100% understand the numbers. Now, this second one is the biggest reason that new real estate investors quit. It's the biggest reason that they'll come back to me and say, Chandler, that 100% was not worth it. Investing in real estate is the worst decision I've ever made. I wish I never did it, and I will never do it again. And that's why I'm gonna hit on this point super hard, because I do not want you to make this mistake if you do decide to invest in real estate. And if you know you're going to make this mistake, then I would say just don't invest in real estate. And that is that you try to be a real estate investor and you try to be a property manager. A lot of times people think that being a property manager or a landlord is the same thing as being a real estate investor, and they couldn't be more different. Here's why. Property manager is the guy that has to do the evictions. He's the guy that has to deal with the late night phone calls. He's the guy that has to deal with the complaints when you raise rent. He's the guy that gets the death threats and people, spitting at him, cursing at him. He's the guy that has to deal with all of the crap. And if you're going to be a property manager, if that's the business that you want to run, it is just that. It is a business that is going to require all of your time. It's going to require multiple relationships with all of the people that deal with all of the different plumbing issues, electrical issues, roofing issues, concrete issues, foundation things, all of that stuff. You've got to deal with that. You've got to deal with tenants. You've got to deal with the contracts or leases that you fill out with tenants. You've got to deal with evictions. You've got to deal with all of that. And it has to be a business that is a well-oiled machine. This is a business that requires a ton of experience, a ton of work, a ton of research. And so I want to make this very clear. Being a property manager is a ton of work and a ton of stress, and it really is a business in and of itself. And what a lot of new investors will do is they'll say, you know what, I can manage my property on my own. So what they do is now they're trying to be an investor. They're finding the property, they're buying the property, they're seeing all of the money go out. And then they're also wrapped up in the emotional side of being a property manager when they're new at both of these. And so now when they make mistakes as a property manager, those mistakes are hurting them in a big way as an investor, and it ends up spiraling them into this dark abyss where they just want to be done with the property. They don't care how much money they lose. They don't care what it takes. They just want to get away from the property, and they never want to invest in real estate again. And so here's what I would tell you. If you're going to invest in real estate and you're wanting to manage the property on your own, go and do it, but understand this is one of the biggest reasons that people fail, because these are two intense businesses. If you're going to be a real estate investor, it can be a very passive investment. Now, you still got to do a lot of work on the front end, making sure that your numbers work right, making sure that you get the right property management company in place, that you get the right insurance, that you've got all your taxes figured out and all of that other stuff with running an investing business. But it is much more passive than the property management side, and I would beg you to not mix them. And here's what a lot of people will do. They'll go and they'll buy the property and they'll say, holy cow, that property manager is going to cost me 10% of the gross rents. That is not worth it. That 10% should be for me. But here's the thing you've got to remember. That 10% is paying someone who is an expert in their career, and they're good at dealing with the emotional stuff, because here's the deal. It's their job, and they're going to make the right decisions if you pick the right property management company, where you are not. And so you're gonna try and save a buck, but that's going to end up costing you because you don't know what you're doing. And when you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna end up losing way more money, and then you're gonna get emotional as an investor, and then you're never gonna wanna do it again. So I'm begging you, don't mix these two unless you have experience. And if you do decide to do both, just know that you're biting off a full-time job being a property manager and kind of a part-time job, especially early on, being an investor, and it's going to be a lot. So don't get emotional. And when you do make mistakes, make sure you've got money in the bank to pay for them, because you're going to have to make mistakes managing the property on your own. And you're gonna have to be okay dealing with the stress and the hassle and the pressure and everything else. And I don't know why you would do it, because it's a lot when you could pay a management company not very much to do a great job and take you out of that. Here is what I will tell you. If you can get to the point where you can get away from it, then all of these things that I listed, when you get robbed, when you have someone drive through a wall, when you have it get backed up, when you have leaks, when you have evictions, when you have all of these other problems, when you've got tenants calling you, complaining about the tenant below them doing who knows what too loudly, you don't have to deal with those calls, because guess what? You're at home not ever hearing about them while your property manager is dealing with them, and you just wait till the beginning of the month where the property management puts the money into your bank account and you say, hey, being a real estate investor is awesome. Now again, if you get the property management company, that isn't all that it comes down to. You still have to be a smart investor. You still got to make sure that you know your numbers, that you know what the rents are going to be in the area, that you know what the expenses are going to be. And a lot of that comes down to talking to a property manager that knows what they're doing so that you can plan for those things. But as an investor, you just have to buy right. Because if you buy right and then you turn it over to the proper property management company, then it's gonna be awesome. Then every month, you just wait till the beginning of the month where you get a check and you are pumped, because investing in real estate is the best investment that you've ever made. And so if you take into consideration the numbers and making sure that you get those right and buying the property properly, and then you take into consideration getting the right management company in place and not doing it on your own unless you know what you're biting off and you're willing to take on another full-time job, then I'll tell you this, it's going to be an incredible investment. Because then when the pipes are clogged and when you've got poop all over somebody's apartment and you're getting a late night call about who knows what, you don't care. The evictions, you don't care. Now, you might have to come down on your property management company if they're not doing a good job. That might be an issue that you run into. but still, then it hopefully separates you from getting emotional so that you can treat it as an investment, where obviously there's some inherent risk. But here's the deal. If you've got insurance, you've got a good property management company, and you've bought a property where the numbers work, it's gonna turn out to be an absolutely incredible investment for you. And so even after me being through all of this, I would never invest in anything else because investing in real estate pays me a higher return than anything else that I could find. It's been absolutely incredible. However, if you don't do these things that I've talked about in this video, you will regret it. You will hate investing in real estate and you'll wish that you'd never done it because just like anything, if you do it incorrectly, you're gonna get burned. Now, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you remember to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell so you can catch my future videos where my goal is to help you to build a huge passive income. And if you're one of those people that watch the whole video and you're saying to yourself, you know what? I want to be a real estate investor. I'm gonna put property management with someone else, but I do want to own real estate. However, I don't know where to start. You can go check out my other videos because I give a ton of free advice on how to get into it. But if you just want everything streamlined and you want 9 hours of content showing you exactly what to do to get into that first investment property and then scale into over 100 like I have, I actually created a real estate investing course where you can click the link down in the description, and right now you can get $50 off. It's usually $300. You can pick it up for $250. And guess what? I actually am in the process of revamping the entire course. I'm adding a couple hours of extra content. I'm also adding in a bunch of other things that are gonna help you to invest in real estate properly. And when I release those here in about a month or two, I'm gonna raise the price of the course up to $500. However, if you grab it now, you can get it for just $250 and you're gonna get all of the new stuff when we release it. And in the meantime, it's 9 hours worth of incredible stuff that's gonna give you everything you need to start investing in real estate. So the link is down in the description if you wanna pick that up. And again, if you don't know yet, if you're all in on buying real estate, don't go buy the course, go check out all of my other videos. There's tons of free content that's gonna help you decide if it's good or not. There's tons of free content on my YouTube channel, so just subscribe to the channel and go check all that out. And if you like the way that I teach, then go and snag the course. Now again, if you like the video, hit the like button, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the future videos. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.